Greetings, leaders. Welcome to Sitrep number 2, your one stop for all things on the future of DomiNations. My name is Alex, otherwise known as Harlem's 369th on the forums. I'm one of the community managers here at Big Huge Games. Throughout the summer, we've been preparing for this very special day, and even more so, all hands on deck throughout the last month. And it's thanks to the development team that we're finally able, I'm excited for this moment, finally able to share things on Drone Command. Bear with me for one moment here because I do have a few more things I want to talk about that are leading into the future of DomiNations. The holidays are upon us and the Thanksgiving dinner is ready for you to feast your eyes upon. Thankfully, you're not going to have to wait for so long. Yeah, I wrote that. It stays in. I put it in there, it stays in. We'll be celebrating all things Thanksgiving starting November 21st. And we'll be including plenty of sales for you to take advantage of. I'm still nailing it. Honestly, I'm nailing it. This upcoming Thanksgiving weekend, November 21st, you'll be able to get that Thanksgiving Treasure Pass. And then the Thanksgiving Event Pass will follow November 24th. That'll feature a wide assortment of tanks for you to enjoy. You won't see your armies unthankful for the firepower of the M109 howitzer tank or the Leopard tank, and they'll even have a ball tank as you achieve victory. Thankfully, that is all the puns that I have here for you. I'm done. I mean it. I'm done. Congratulations, you've made it this far in the Sitrep, and the time has finally arrived for me to talk about Drone Command. It's right around the corner. See? I got a little treat for you here. Over the last few months, we broke down how this building would change the face of war and DomiNations. Drones will introduce an additional way to empower your troops to victory on offense, or hold their ground on defense. If you missed our initial reveal of these new drones, don't worry, here's a refresher. The offensive drone can be placed anywhere on the map. You'll be able to reposition the offensive drone after a cooldown period, much like the basic rally option. Now, on defense, you'll have a defensive drone that appears for your normal defense, and then a war defensive drone that can be loaded with directives that are different from your regular defensive drone. Defensive drones spawn immediately when your base or war base is attacked. You'll want to set your directives in a way that they'll benefit the defensive drone's area of effect. However, make sure to keep your drone command building well defended, because once the building is destroyed, your defensive drone will cease functioning. Okay, so let's take a look at what these drones are actually capable of. Defensive drones will follow 2 of 8 directives, and your offensive drone will have access to 4 base directives and 4 charged directives, which are consumables. You'll go to your drone command building to equip these directives. For your defensive drone, you'll have to pick 2 directives that will complement your defense, and they'll activate in the order that they're placed. You can equip your defensive drones with things like counterintelligence, which can prevent your buildings from being sabotaged for a while, or remove existing sabotages. This even includes Blitzkrieg's sabotage effect. You can utilize the surveillance directive, allowing enemy commandos to be targeted by the tower defensive structure. You can even extend the longevity of your buildings with the reinforced foundations directive that will heal your buildings within the defensive drone's radius. So for your offensive drone, utilize things like the demoralize directive. That will leave defensive units that spawn with less health. Or use the inspiration directive to increase the damage and movement speed of your factory troops. Then the charge directive. Now these will come in 3 different rarities for each directive. They'll fall under uncommon, rare, or legendary. Now each level of rarity adds more power to the consumable charge directive. You can think of these like troop tactics, and you'll obtain them in the same way via war chests, Marco Polo, and events passes. An example is the charge directive Cripple, a directive that weakens defending heavy tanks and heavy cavalry. Now the uncommon version will only have a 25% damage buff. If you happen to pull a rare version, you'll actually get that and minus 15 attack speed debuff. Then the legendary version will include all of that and reduce the range of heavy tanks and heavy cavalry by 1. Another example of a charge directive is Valor, and this directive gives boosts to your generals. You can catch the full directive breakdown on our forums for complete day 1 details. Last month, some players got an early look at how Drone Command would work in a live environment. Thanks to the time and dedication spent in exploring this new feature, we were able to ensure not only that the feature was ready for a full launch, but we also gained invaluable feedback on what the ETB participants thought. And actually, we were able to implement some of that feedback into the live build you'll all be playing very soon. As you saw in our early look at Drone Command, we originally had set offensive drones as unable to be targeted by anything on defense. It was our hope that the defensive drone would be enough of a counterbalance to even the playing field against it. However, even in the test build, this didn't create a great feeling for our defending players, and it became a strong asset on offense. The feature felt one-sided as defensive drones could be destroyed by destroying the Drone Command building. But because of the feedback in our initial reveal, and from those that participated in the early test build, the offensive drone will now be targetable and destroyable by the GCI radar. On top of that, as you upgrade the offensive drone, it will now gain additional health at each level. We also found that bombers had a pretty strong advantage against the Drone Command building. Initially, we gave Drone Command a substantial amount of health, even more than that of the town center. Despite that, it still wasn't enough to withstand the onslaught of bombers. Now, in our live build, we'll be increasing the Drone Command's health at each level, starting at 150,000 HP. Additionally, bombers are only going to deal 10% of their normal damage to the Drone Command building. Thank you again to all that participated in our early test build of Drone Command. We can't thank you enough, and we'll continue to keep a close eye on how this building performs in the future. There has been plenty of theory crafting going on the forums and on social media. The focus of these conversations is generally around how we can improve defense for players, and that's been a major area of focus for us here at Big Huge Games. Admittedly, defense has been having a difficult time keeping up with some of those astronomical numbers that offense has been able to put up. Now, aside from reevaluating how debuffs will work with your museum artifacts in a future update, we're going to take a look at a very specific culprit: Sabotage. Sabotage has grown to be a very large pain point for defensive players. Come higher levels, Sabotage is a tactic that can render some of your more powerful defenses ineffective in combinations of strong units and troop tactics. Originally, Sabotage was built with a small radius of effect in mind. So the idea being that a poorly built defensive base would lose out on up to 4 buildings with a good placement of Sabotage. However, realistically speaking, when facing an opponent that has a few stacks of Sabotage, you'll lose out on some of your more powerful defenses before they even have a chance of defending your base. So, our current proposal, to start with at the very least, is to reduce the duration of Sabotage. This update is going to go live alongside the release of Drone Command. We don't want to make too drastic a change right away, especially in a live environment, nor do we want to go so far that the viability of Sabotage is removed. You'll still gain boosts from your university and library research as normal. In this update to Sabotage, instead of each level gaining 1 second of duration, you'll only be gaining half a second, which in turn will actually reduce the potency of these research bonuses for Sabotage. This is only our initial step for Sabotage, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on this update as we continue to monitor the impact that this has on the live environment. The experience helped us to ensure that at launch, Drone Command would be ready for the actual theater of war. It is with great excitement that I'm happy to announce that Drone Command is finally available today. That launched live alongside 11.3 update. That's all we have for today's Sitrep. We look forward to seeing how you'll implement Drone Command into your army composition. Thank you for your continued support for DomiNations, and we'll see you on the battlefield, leaders. Till next time, take care.